What makes a game impressive? Is it the flashy graphics, cool features, amazing music, or a combination of them all? Well, in this video, we're going to break down the top 10 most impressive games on the Nintendo Switch. And by impressive, I don't just mean on the technical side. The 10 games on this list impressed me the most with a variety of things, from music, gameplay innovation, graphics, design, and more, just to create a wholly unique experience that's hard to find anywhere else. But enough of that. Now off to the top 10. Number 10, Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread does so many things from a gameplay perspective, audio design, little animation cues, graphics. Yes, it's 2D. It's not a full 3D realized Metroid Prime or anything like that, but it's still incredibly impressive for a 2D game. It seamlessly blends incredible set pieces, boss battles, powers, expectations, so many different things that you would expect from a 2D Metroid title. Metroid Dread was able to execute and executed that flawlessly. I love how they transitioned easily from one scene to another. Running, Samus, how she just kind of flows is just a beauty to it. One of the biggest things that I look at when it comes to gaming, not just how it looks graphically from that perspective, but what does it do for you emotionally? What does it do in all the other aspects? Does the sound, the story, the cutscenes, does everything fit? And to me, Metroid Dread is that perfect blend of old and new that just works and fits for what the Nintendo Switch does, which is exactly why Metroid Dread makes it to number 10 on my list. Number 9, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. While this game doesn't run at the fastest frame rate, the game somehow manages to feel just as responsive or more responsive than many other games with double the frame rate. The level design, music, abilities, and game pacing is the best in the series. And what impressed me so much with this game is the vibrant colors and overall presentation. On the Nintendo Switch OLED or high quality OLED display, the game just looks incredible. How they used the lighting and color system to craft levels and point out secrets was genius. How Laboratories truly went all out in the development of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, addressing one of my main issues with many Kirby games, the difficulty. They do have a harder mode available from the beginning, but it was the challenge levels and post-game content that really showed the team took the feedback seriously with Kirby's Star Allies and past Kirby games. When it comes to 3D platformers on Nintendo Switch, it doesn't get much more impressive than Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Number 8, Super Mario Odyssey. This game would be a lot higher on my list if I didn't already expect mainland Mario games to run near flawless and be one of the best looking games on any platform that it's on. Mario games have always played a massive role in defining Nintendo's platforms and moving the tech forward. The original Mario Bros did it. Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Odyssey is no different here. The graphics are still some of the best on the Nintendo Switch. The frame rate is more than good, especially in portable mode in large worlds. The music is some of the best in the franchise. The controls and movement options are still top tier, and I can't think of a bigger 3D platformer in recent memory overall. Super Mario Odyssey is the full package and a very impressive title when you factor all aspects in. Number 7, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Nobody felt that this game was possible. Back when rumors first started up about The Witcher 3 potentially coming to Nintendo Switch, gamers everywhere swore up and down that there was no way this game would be possible with the Nintendo Switch and the current technology that it has. But Saber and CD Projekt Red were able to get more than a competent port on the Nintendo Switch. While the game doesn't look as good as the other versions, the Switch version impressively holds up. The frame rate and graphics do a decent enough job, especially when playing in portable mode. And there's even a super unique feature that allows you to cross saves with the PC version of the game. To my understanding, there are only a few games on the Nintendo Switch that allows that type of functionality. We also need to discuss how the game is one of the few titles to use a 32GB cartridge and the only Western game to do so. They were able to pack all of The Witcher 3 into that tiny cartridge along with the massive expansion. The technology behind just making The Witcher 3 work on Nintendo Switch is incredibly impressive. Number 6, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. 40 to 50 people with some outside contracted help. That was around the team size who made Xenoblade Chronicles 2, a fully featured, massive first-party RPG. Most people still think Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was made with all of Monolith Soft and their main team, but it wasn't, and that's what makes this game so impressive. Hundreds of hours of gameplay, incredible music and story, but also being able to sell 2 million plus copies and become the best selling Monolith Soft game of all time, until we get the sales for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, of course, because that's going to do better. While Xenoblade Chronicles 2 might not be the best game in the franchise, it's by far one of the most impressive games on Nintendo Switch. The in-depth mechanics, massive story, and overwhelming amount of content is what makes this game so impressive considering the team size, development time, and overall game. Number 5, Astral Chain. When I first saw Astral Chain, I was blown away. The sleek anime art style, cool soundtrack, bombastic animations, and loaded concept had my mind spinning with possibilities. But it wasn't until I played the game myself till I saw the sheer brilliance of it. It's impressive because at the time it came out in 2019, you didn't see anything like it on the Nintendo Switch. The gameplay loop was radiant. Platinum Games and Nintendo somehow managed to create an action RPG that lets you control 2 characters at once, but also gave you the freedom to move around, combo, do special moves, level up, customize, dynamically switch between your party members, or legions as they called it in the game. It's honestly one of the most innovative combat systems I have ever seen and played, and there really isn't anything else like it on the Nintendo Switch. While the story isn't that impressive, the graphics, music, gameplay, and content is very much so. No DLC, all on one cartridge, full suite of achievements, bonus missions, replay value, and more. Astral Chain is an experience you shouldn't miss on the Nintendo Switch. Number 4, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The biggest official crossover in gaming history. That is what Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is all about. Before Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was revealed, the popular thing fans would do is guess what characters would be cut due to licensing, system specs, time, or whatever else the case was. But when Sakurai revealed that every single character to ever appear in a Smash Bros. Game would be returning plus new characters, my mind was officially blown. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate seems more like a miracle than a game at times, considering how hard it is to have this many characters and somehow have a balanced game or anything that resembles it. In addition to working with a budget and time constraints, nobody felt a game like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate could ever be done. But on top of all that, the game has over 1,000 or around 1,000 music tracks, over 100 stages, and runs at 1080p 60 frames per second, even in 8-player mode. But technically, you can have up to 16 characters on screen if you're using all Ice Climbers in 8 players mode. You could even have 8-player mode running with high items on dynamic stages, and the frame rate / graphics never buckle up. I don't see Super Smash Bros. Ultimate being replaced anytime soon. Its incredible roster, smooth gameplay, great soundtrack, intuitive controls, and hype moments make it one of the most impressive games on the Nintendo Switch. Number 3, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It seems like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild will always find some way to make it onto any of my best Nintendo Switch lists. It just does. It's that great. And obviously with good reason, right? This game literally carried the Nintendo Switch system at launch. It was so good, people didn't care that the launch lineup wasn't the best that Nintendo has ever done. People didn't care that many third-party companies didn't plan on supporting the Switch earlier. People didn't care that the Nintendo Switch wasn't as strong as even the base Xbox One or PS4. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild justified the Nintendo Switch existing and its concept. To be able to play one of the greatest games of all time anywhere you want was enough. Gamers bought the system and games in droves, and still to this day, 5+ years later, gamers are buying The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's the definition of a true system seller, an evergreen title. When it comes to what makes the game itself so impressive, well, I'm sure you guys already know why. The physics, open world, fascinating lore, and sheer combat options with the Sheikah Slate and weapons make it a game that people are still doing new things in today. The only reason why Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild isn't higher on my list is because I expected Zelda to be innovative and do this. But number 3 is still absolutely nothing to scoff at. Number 2, Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. What makes Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak so impressive to reach number 2 on my list over many first-party Nintendo Switch games and other impossible ports is the fact that the game is doing so many things you don't see on Nintendo Switch. The game runs on Nintendo Switch custom-built version of the RE engine, meaning that Monster Hunter Rise doesn't have the saturated look many other third-party games have on the system. But it's not just the graphics that are impressive here. Monster Hunter Rise gameplay and the online are insanely unique and shine when compared to many other titles, Nintendo's included. The online play and how it runs specifically is awesome. It was the first known game to use Nintendo's new NPLN server system, which creates a better online experience overall for gamers. Monster Hunter Rise is packed full of content, free updates, and the incredible Sunbreak expansion. The controls, soundtrack, options, incredible graphics, and sheer replayability makes Monster Hunter Rise stand above many other games and an easy pick for number 2 on my list. Number 1. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is easily one of the best RPGs created, with its fantastic combat system, massive open world, and incredible soundtrack. But what I think makes Xenoblade Chronicles 3 the most impressive game on the Nintendo Switch right now is what Monolith Soft and Nintendo were able to accomplish with the game. 5 times larger than Xenoblade Chronicles 2. 7 party members on screen, all attacking with tons of special effects and animations happening, while multiple enemies on screen in real time, seamless battles. There really isn't anything else on this like the Nintendo Switch. You can also switch characters at any time, in battle, and easily exit battles right into the open world without any loading screens. I don't see any other console RPGs that do this combination of things, and that includes not just Nintendo Switch, but also Xbox and PlayStation. The team that put together the writing, lip syncing, cutscenes just did an incredible job, making the characters feel truly believable. The adventure Noah, Mio, and friends embark on is simply legendary, and you can tell the developers really had passion, love, and care for their work and this game. And that's exactly what makes Xenoblade Chronicles 3 the most impressive game on the Nintendo Switch. Now that was just my list for the top 10 most impressive Nintendo Switch games. What are your top 10 most impressive Nintendo Switch games, and what top 10 lists would you like me to cover in the future? Let me know in the comment section below. Alright peeps, that wraps it up for this video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get my videos first. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you for the next one.